What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Seat of my favorite Uber and Lyft passengers or riders. I'll get that straight one day. But I just have the most beautiful young lady who happened to be a Libra. Shout out to all my Libras out there. And she's a former school teacher from, what, 4th grade to 12th grade? And
yes.
She was math and science teacher, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I asked you a question that I think a lot of people like to know. Why do people don't like math? What's the deal? Help me understand that.
Okay. I think math has rules, and the rules are concrete. When we talk about English and language arts and things of that nature, a lot is left up to interpretation. And we live in a society where, you know, overall, everybody wants to push the envelope and bend the rules. And unfortunately with math, you have to learn the rules thoroughly before you can bend them or work around them. And I think that's a patience that people just don't have anymore. So, and as parents, we don't have it. Therefore, our children don't have it. So in the classroom, we rebel against the science and the math. And to me, I like the subjects that have the static rules. The rules don't change, you know. So they are what they are. There's one way to calculate it, and of course there's steps involved, and once you learn the steps involved, then at that point you can take shortcuts and skip steps, but you got to learn them to begin with. And I think that's the key. That's
a great analogy. I never really thought of it in that manner. That it's rules. It's based on rules.
It is.
With no room to put some subjectivity in there. It's
not at all.
1 + 1 is going to equal 2.
Period.
And you can't debate that.
Exactly.
There's no rule. You can't try to argue your way around it.
No, not at all.
Now, is there a specific gender that you think, in your years of experience, like math more than the other?
No, it's now when we get into gender, that's a whole nother conversation. Quickly, girls tend to excel a little bit more because girls want to please the teacher. They want to be the teacher's pet. Boys, on the other hand, you have to prove to boys why you get to be in charge. What is it about you that makes you so special that I have to put all of my trust in what you're telling me? So you have to prove yourself to boys, and teachers don't want to do that. So that's why it takes a delicate kind of teacher to recognize the gender differences, because honestly a lot of times boys are penalized and kind of treated as defective girls because they want proof. They want proof of what makes you an authority. Okay, you went to college, so what? Show me why you're so smart, why you get to run this. And people don't want to prove that to boys. Teachers in general don't feel like they should have to prove themselves to their students, but I believe you have to earn their respect, period.
Wow. Woo. 2 for 2, guys. Let's see. Woo. Okay, give me 5 reasons why students should love math.
5 reasons.
5 good reasons why students should love math.
Okay, number 1, they love money, or think they do. So in order to manage your money, you have got to understand math. Particularly algebra, when you talk about interest and mortgages and finance and things in that nature. Number 2, numbers go on forever. They're not going to end. And you know, as we monitor things like debt and things of that nature, the number just keeps going and going and going. So the digits only go from 0 to 9, and they just keep repeating in different ways, and we've got to learn how to be able to manage the numbers as they get larger. And by the same token, they also can get infinitely smaller. Number 3, number 3, time management. You need to know how you spend your time. And so of course you got to think about percentages. If you know, that way you got to think of what you invest your time in your life. We invest more time in the things we love or the things we end up excelling at. Number 4.
Great top 4, by the way. Those are really good.
Okay.
Wow, number 4.
Okay.
Well, number 3. Here comes number 4.
Number 4. We have to be able to pay it forward. So you got to develop a love of I can't, as a teacher, stand in a room and say to my students, oh, I hated math when I was in school. So we have to take the steps to understand it, to be able to love it, to be able to pay it forward.
Wow.
And number 5, I guess back to money. You got to budget. You got to budget. We have to teach our children to be money smart, and that means managing your money. You have to manage your money. You have to know where you don't need an app or not even a checkbook register. You should know where your money is going and how it's going and where it's going and when it's going.
Wow.
So that's my top 5.
That's phenomenal. I like that. Can I add something to that?
Okay.
We're made up of nothing but math.
Bingo.
I tell my kids,
True.
I mean, God, you are one of millions of sperms,
Right.
one of hundreds of eggs.
Right.
You got 206 bones in your body.
Right.
God knows how many cells
Mm-hmm.
and everything else. It just, like you said, it continues to grow from that. So
It does.
that's amazing. One last thing before we close this out.
Okay.
What advice would you give the parents in helping their kids master or really get a good foundation in math and understanding math?
Make it a lifestyle.
Make it a lifestyle.
You cannot leave your child's education up to the schools and the teachers. You have to teach your children. If you're cooking, if you're making meals, that's fractions and measurements. Have your children, have your children work through recipes with you. Take a recipe and decide, if you want to make smaller than the recipe allows. How do we divide the ingredient amounts to get less, or multiply them to get more? There are teachable moments all around us, and as a parent, you're your child's first and most impression, the teacher that leaves the biggest impression, because you manage all areas of their life. So you as an adult have to take it seriously. You have to present a mind for math at all times.
At all times. Wow, there you have it, guys. Another great edition of Behind the Seat of my favorite Uber and Lyft riders. Yeah. So hey, I'll see you on the next one. And you're amazing.
Thank
and
you.
Your smile is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I tell you, we'll see you on the next one.